Here I'm going to show you how to lay out a 8-foot wall with a 30 by 36 inch window right in the center of it. First I'm going to start with my on-center layout, which is just going to be 3/4 of an inch back from each red 16-inch on-center mark. Just put an X ahead, that's the side of the mark you know you need to put your stud on. And this is going to be a 2x4 wall, but for the sake of this video I'm just doing it on 2x6 stock because that's just what I had. Now I'm just going to put a line on each one of those marks I made. The reason we do this is so when you put your stud down on the plate, the stud's going to be sitting perpendicular to the plate. Now what I'm doing is I'm marking my corner L stud so that other butt walls can butt into this, and what I'm just doing here is marking out 3.5 inches away from the end of the wall and 1.5 inches away from the inside of the wall. Put an X right on that, and that's my butt stud. Now I'm going to write down my RSOs roughly in the middle of the wall, and for a 30 by 36 inch window that's going to be 31 inches by 37 inches. Just add an inch for each way. And here I'm going to figure out the center of my wall. It's an 8-foot wall, so I know it's going to be 4 feet on center. I'm going to put a center line there, and now I'm going to figure out where the edges of my RSOs are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to middle the RSO on the tape measure right on that center line mark. So for 31 it would be 15.5. So I'm going to put 15.5 right on that center line. I'm going to mark the end of my tape. Then I'm going to mark where my RSO measurement would be, so 31. That's going to middle it perfectly. Put a line right on there. Now to the left and right of the window, I'm going to be adding 2 stud locations. One will be a jack to hold up the lintel, the other one will be a king stud to help hold the jack. So I've marked another 1.5 inch line. That's dedicating a spot for my jack stud, and I'll mark a separate one for my king. Now you can see my corner stud, my on-center layout, my RSO, and this stud that would end up in the middle of my window here is now going to be a trimmer stud. My jack, my king studs, and then my other corner stud. And right here, the piece of melamine I'm using was shipped out at 97 inches long, and I didn't cut that. So really it would be 96 inches for my 8-foot wall, but this piece is just a little longer. So this is how you lay out and calculate a normal common rafter. You're going to take your unit run, multiply it by your unit length, which in this case it's 13.42. That's going to give us 80.52. We're going to subtract the inches off that. It's going to leave us with the decimals of an inch. Multiply that by 16 to get your 16ths. And that'll give us the length of our common rafter. Here I'm going to mark my 6/12 out on the Mach 2x6. I'm now going to hook my tape on the end of the board, which would be the end of the cut. Now I'm marking out the end of my rafter, which you can barely see. And I'm going to mark the offcut. What I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you how to do your first jack rafter. How you do this is you take your normal run and you subtract your first on-center spacing off, which is 24 inches. So really it would be 6 subtract 2, because this is in feet, which leaves me 4. You can now multiply that by 13.42, because that's our normal unit length for a 6/12 roof. equal, and that's 53.68. Take away our inches, 53. Now we multiply this by 16, and that gets our sixteenths. So 11 sixteenths. 53 inches and 11 sixteenths. That's our length for our first jackraft. So we're gonna get our 612 on here. Hook tape. 53 and 11 sixteenths. For our line. And then go 612 on there.